Hi, everybody. It's Rebby Goebel, the Special School District of St. Louis PAC president here for you today. And we're going to try something just a little bit new in an effort to reach more members and more people who can't join us at our meetings. We're going to try and give you the highlights of the meeting in 5 to 10 minutes in a video format, something that you can easily share with everybody in your local PACs and in your school districts, or just other parents who might be interested. So I'm not going to do much editing in this. This is basically going to be live. I am going to be sharing my screen, and we're going to try and give you just basically the headlines really quickly here. So in our September 2018 meeting, we voted in a couple of new members, which was great. And then we ended up speaking, our guest speaker for the evening was Dr. Don Bohannon and Dr. Paul Bauer. And they spoke to us about changes around MAP-A, which is the, MAP is the state accreditation testing that our children all go through, and the MAP-A is an alternate testing. The guidelines around how many children per school district are tightening. So they spoke just to basically do some education on behalf for our PAC members about what MAP-A is, what the guidelines really are. They want, I believe it's less than 1% of all students in a school district to take the alternate MAP test. So there's going to be a lot more information forthcoming about that. So this was really just some information. Please see the meeting minutes if you want a more detailed write-up on that, or email our PAC email address and we'll get you put in contact with the right people to get more information about MAP-A. Just know that there are going to be some changes. Some children who were able to take the MAP-A previously might be switched over to the regular MAP testing this year. And then I spoke quite a bit about the brainstorming activity that we did in August. So for those of you who missed both August and September, in August I asked the PAC members who were there and said, what are your priorities? What do you really want us to focus on? Our goal as a parent advisory council is to advise the special school district. So we want to know what the hot topics are, both from SSD's perspective and from the parent perspective. So we went through a whole brainstorming activity, and I wrote down all of the things that all the members came up with. And in August, we didn't get a chance to go over that and see what the executive committee and administration had already come up with over the summer prior to the August meeting. So I walked everybody through that comparison of the lists, and I want to show you guys that here right now. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. So again, this was the September 12th meeting. So this was the list of the hot topics that the executive committee and the admin came up with. As you can see, we broke it down based on some of the CSIP goals that the SSD already has, but we had things in there like teacher caseload, systematic delivery of services, specifically around IEP process, the AC principal relationship, least restrictive environment. These were all topics that the SSD administration felt like they could benefit from having parent input on as they make some decisions around these topics in the coming months. The partnership agreements, extended school year, membership growth is on there, and then doing, and I have a typo on here, it's SWAT analysis. No, this is right. SWOT, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So Don wants to have us give him some input on what we think the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are to the SSD. It's a pretty standard tool that's used around processes and things like this to really evaluate an idea or an organization in this instance. So here are, I'm going to start popping up some bubbles here. These are the topics that I wrote down on a flip chart during the meeting. So as you can see, dealing with challenging behavior, mental health awareness, trauma-informed practices, inclusion, those things all fall under that overarching goal 4 of equity. Ensuring equal voice and respect for parents and IEP, all of that falls under the systematic delivery of services in the IEP process. How to access your free and appropriate public education, your FAPE. How access to that impacts like removals from classrooms. So we're talking about just being removed and that not being counted by, as minutes or minutes removed, suspensions, those types of things, how that's documented and reported. Some of these were 1-for-1, like life course that deals with transitions, both in between elementary school to middle school to high school, and then high school to post-school system environment. The partnership agreement, extended school year, and then increasing PAC membership. Again, everything in the bullets are things that we came up with as parents, and then I just mapped them back to where we had already thought of that topic from the EC and administration side. So some new topics came up that we didn't have covered, which was standard communication across SSD. This was about like a welcome letter that includes a standard template or a standard set of information so that all parents are given the same information at the beginning of the school year. And then parents were saying that they wanted information on the development and training of the SSD staff. They wanted to understand what kind of training the paraeducators and the teachers who were interacting with their children. What does that look like? And then there were a couple of topics that came up that we decided were going to be best. They weren't really something that we could cover at a county level. It's something where if you have concerns about these 2 topics, then you really need to address that with your partner district locally. And that was some sort of memorandum between partner district and police. This concern was raised about what happens if the resource officer is called in or something like that. How is that handled? That is a school by school, district by district, police department by police department situation. So you're really going to have to deal with that locally. It's not something we can address. If you need ideas on best practices, that's something that you can request back through special school district, but it's not something we're going to address over the course of the year. And then aftercare and extracurricular activities, inclusion in those things. Again, that is going to be very specific to the company, not the school district that's providing aftercare, but a lot of times it's a private company. It's just going to be very specific school by school. So again, if you're looking for best practices, reach back out to special school district or through us here at the PAC, and we'd be happy to get you that information. So the other thing that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention and why we're trying some new things like this video is to reach some members. So as you're looking at this chart, the blue bars are the number of members per school district. And then the red dots are how many meetings over the course of last school year were they able to attend. And do not get me wrong, any sort of attendance is awesome because we all understand how difficult it is to attend a meeting when you have a child who has any level of special needs. This is more about me being able to communicate with superintendents and the different boards of education, all of those governing structures that are put into place around special school district and all of our partner districts to say, you need to help support these families and you need to help us find more members so that no one member is trying to attend all 8 or 9 of these meetings. So this is not about shaming anyone. This is just about saying, here are the places where we don't have any membership. And some of this has changed because we've welcomed some new members in, but this is just looking at the 2017-18 school year as a snapshot. So I have been sharing this information. I shared it with the governing council for special school district. I'll be sharing it with the superintendents as well as the directors of special education for all of the partner districts. I'm also probably going to be sharing it to the SSD Board of Education as well. So this information is just meant to motivate leadership levels within these school districts to support us and try and help us recruit, get information out. I'm hoping that they'll start by sharing this video so that their families can get some of the information of what's going on at SSD, Parent Advisory Council, and hopefully we'll get some new members out of it. So other than that, Don gave a legislative update. There's not much of an update yet because we have a new governor and we do, they haven't come back from their summer recess, or there's not a whole lot that's been put forward. They do have a meeting coming with the new governor and he seems to be maybe a little bit more pro-education, so that's a good thing. There are going to be some SSD committees that are looking for parent involvement. So even if you're not a member in our Parent Advisory Council, you can still serve as a member on an SSD committee. So if you're super passionate about dyslexia or autism or sign language or whatever it might be, there might be a committee within SSD that is looking for parent input. So I will be getting that list out to everybody. And the last thing that I have is we just launched a kind of updated, refreshed website. So take a look at our website and we're going to be, you'll see that there's a placeholder there for a district level Parent Advisory Council resource library. So if you have a PAC in your district and you have some templates or things, letters that you've sent out either to administration or your parents or what have you that you'd like to share with someone who is trying to start up their own PAC maybe for the first time, we would love to include it. I'm not going to be doing any editing on it. It's just out there for informational purposes so that people don't have to recreate the wheel. So I hope this really helped. Let me know how you liked it. A couple things are going to be coming out. I'm going to be getting out a survey so that you can help me rank all of those hot topics that we just went through. And then, oh, if you do have a local district Parent Advisory Council and you want the meetings listed on our calendar, there's a link to a Google form that I've sent out so that you can populate all that information, and then I'll make sure that it gets updated on our calendar. So if you have any questions, our email is pac@ssdmo.org, and or you can find us under the leadership tab on the SSD website. And let me know what you think about this and if we should keep doing it. So I hope everyone has a great couple of weeks until our October meeting. Bye.